創設者ドクターベン・スドフンポラ・ビマラサラテロ様、お願いいたします。
皆さん、こんにちは。こんにちは。大変大事に世界の小さい国では皆さんの命あげてもらって本当にありがとうございます。私の日本語得意じゃないんだけども、心から皆さんいろんな応援にしてもらってありがとうございます。目標ではこういう言葉があります。私たち子供の時代あります。若い時代もあります。おじいさん、おばあちゃんになったら私たちの体もなくなります。私っていう体が世界に残れないです。こういういいこと、人のために、国のために、世界のために、平和のためにやったこと、世界に残ります。皆さん、そういう考え方でスリランカのためにだけじゃなくて、世界のために、人のために一緒に頑張りましょう。よろしくお願いします。ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございました。続きまして、駐日スリランカ全権大使ロドニー・ペレーラ様よりお言葉を頂戴いたします。よろしくお願いいたします。
I want, dear friends, most venerable Dr. Suduhumpola Wimalasara thero, Dr. Noriyaki Suga, President of the International Relations Organizations, and the special guests attending this important event. I sincerely thank the International Relations Organization for organizing this occasion to promote Sri Lanka in Japan. The work of most venerable Dr. Suduhumpola thero and Dr. Suga to provide this opportunity to assist Sri Lanka at this time is most sincerely appreciated. Timing to have this event today is very appropriate, as during this weekend, all Sri Lankans celebrate the dawn of the Sinhala and Hindu New Year. Japan has always remained a close bilateral partner for Sri Lanka by helping us to improve in many areas, such as infrastructure and business relations. Recently, Japan was extremely supportive of Sri Lanka's debt restructuring initiatives in the Paris Club of Donor Countries and the International Monetary Fund. Sri Lanka continues to seek the support of the Japanese government, the business sector, and the friendly people of Japan to overcome the many economic challenges Sri Lanka faces. My country, like Japan, too faces the challenge in dealing with food and energy security, but together we can cooperate to work in a mutually beneficial manner to help our respective peoples. The first documented visit from Japan to Sri Lanka took place in 1862 when Fukusawa Yukichi visited Sri Lanka on his way to Europe and then again on his return to Japan, according to his diary preserved at Keio University. This important visit led to many Japanese students going to Sri Lanka to study Buddhism and Buddhist scholars to come to Japan. The spiritual leader of today's occasion, Most Venerable Dr. Suduhumpola thero, is therefore continuing these established linkages between Sri Lanka and Japan. The connections made between our two countries and the efforts of this type of event bring Sri Lanka and Japan even closer. Despite the terrible war in the 1940s, Sri Lanka appealed to the international community to create a new beginning for Japan at the San Francisco Peace Conference in 1951. Sri Lanka's representative J.R. Jayawardena, whom I had the privilege of knowing from the time I was a child, as he was my immediate neighbor, concluded his speech with an invaluable quote from Lord Buddha's teachings. We believe in the words of the great teacher that hatred sees us not by hatred but by love. The message of the Buddha spread a wave of humanism through Asia, which bound us together for hundreds of years with a common cultural and heritage. We extend to Japan a hand of friendship and trust that with the closing of this chapter in the history of the last page of which we write today, and with the beginning of the new one, the first page together to enjoy the full dignity of human life in peace and prosperity. It is those connections that were established many years ago that Sri Lanka today is benefiting from the close bonds of friendship with Japan. We would like to continue to work together to promote Japanese tourists to visit Sri Lanka, investment from Japanese companies, trade between our two countries, and employment workers from Sri Lanka in Japan. For Japanese tourists, Sri Lanka is an ideal destination. There are direct flights from Tokyo to Colombo on Sri Lankan Airlines, which takes only 8.5 hours. Foremost places in Sri Lanka are the cultural sites that showcases our Buddhist heritage. An area called the Cultural Triangle contains several UNESCO World Heritage Sites from our Buddhist culture of more than 2,000 years. The architectural marvels are unique in any part of the world. In Sri Lanka, where Buddhism arrived more than 2,300 years ago, we commemorate Vesak Day on the full moon day in the month of May in 3 weeks' time as the birth of Siddhartha Gautama, the enlightenment and passing away of Gautama Buddha. Then there is the beautiful natural environment of Sri Lanka. Pristine sandy beaches, rivers, mountains, rainforests, national parks with much biodiversity, tea plantations, and so much more for visitors to see in Sri Lanka. As a matter of fact, Sri Lanka is the only country where you can see the largest sea mammal, the blue whale, and the largest land mammal, the elephant, within a matter of 1 to 2 hours. Sri Lanka currently has more than 7,000 elephants, which makes it the country with the highest density of elephants anywhere in the world. In our Buddhist tradition, elephants are given the special honor to carry sacred Buddhist relics at important Buddhist festivals. Our food culture is also very special. The tropical environment allows us to grow a wide variety of food items, which include many kinds of rice, fruits, and vegetables. This provides for healthy meals that is also based on our wellness and Ayurvedic traditions. The natural environment in Sri Lanka that provides so much fauna and flora has helped us to base our wellness through our own indigenous Ayurveda medicines. This is a special aspect all our Japanese friends can benefit from by visiting Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is also known for many types of gemstones, including royal blue sapphires. The jewelry industry of the country has a very long and rich history. We appreciate if the people of Japan can enhance the trade volume of Sri Lanka by sourcing these products to Japan. That would naturally provide better livelihoods to Sri Lanka. There are many business and investment opportunities for Japanese entrepreneurs and companies with Sri Lanka. Our main export is the apparel sector, but there are now prospects for Japanese businesses to buy into many state-owned enterprises. More than 50 years ago, Noritake established a factory in Sri Lanka to make ceramic products. This project still continues very profitably. Then 30 years ago, Onomichi Dockyard from Osaka joined with the Colombo Dockyard, and they continue to build ships for many countries. About 25 years ago, NTT bought into Sri Lanka Telecom and helped modernize the telecommunications and IT sectors in Sri Lanka. So similarly, there are now more and more avenues for economic and business collaborations that are possible for Japanese enterprises and investors in Sri Lanka. The Sri Lanka Embassy gives high priority to promote and assist in possible business ventures. The high quality of education and health standards, along with the population dynamics in Sri Lanka, allows us to have young, skillful, and trainable workforce that is ideally suited to serve the labor shortage in Japan. We want to train more of our young people in the Japanese language and get the right training and skills to work in Japan as trainees and specialized skills workers. Sri Lanka is working closely with Japanese authorities to continue to expand the opportunities for Sri Lankan workers to come to Japan and meet the challenges in the shortages of labor. Moving forward, we also see the need to create more exchanges of students, researchers, and volunteers to help create more linkages between our respective countries. The international relations organizations, under the guidance of Most Venerable Suduhumpola Thero and Dr. Suga, is working tirelessly to create more business and labor connections for Sri Lanka to benefit from. The Embassy of Sri Lanka will continue to work closely with them and the distinguished audience to bring Sri Lanka and Japan closer and get the much needed support from Japan to rebuild our economy. Through very productive events like this, I'm sure we can realize mutually beneficial efforts to the friendly people of both Japan and Sri Lanka. I thank you all very much. Thank you.
それではこれより10分間の休憩に入ります。
おももりちょっと待って、おももりあげる。おももり。いい？はい。아나 보지 마라. 때는 랑가라 안 되는. 스튜디. 고맙습니다. ありがとうございます。
日本とスリランカによる友好の発展をよりまして、大変短いお時間ではございますが、ご歓談をお楽しみください。お写真につきましては、どうぞお好きな時間に前のプレートの前で撮影をお願いいたします。
今、埼玉に。
はいはいはい。
Would you like to 一緒に行きましょうか？今？
車でスペースある。本当？うん。オーケー。いやいや。おいっそね、いっそ。いっそベダラ。いや、で今から埼玉春日部に向かうということで。
そう。これからスリランカ
ニューイヤーね。